All right, Josh Newberg, the On3 Recruits channel. We're going to talk a little Miami football, Miami recruiting. Josh, Mario has been a man on fire and has really out-recruited his record in back-to-back years. The number 5 class last year, number 8 the year before that, and really without Cormani McClain flipping last minute, they would have been probably 2 back-to-back top 5 classes. But he's done that without on-field results. It is now the time where you're going to have to eventually get the on-field results to continue to increase, or could he blow us all out of the water and have a mediocre on-field season and still recruit well?
No, you're going to have to recruit. You're going to have to play well in year 3 of a 10-year to finish inside the top 10. Now, Miami could still have a very good class, finish just outside the top 10 and not have a great year because of Mario's ability to recruit on the trail. And, a lot of it's just going to depend on the season. So we'll just see how they go. But so far, so good for Mario Cristobal and the Canes as we're, almost out of summer and they're red hot.
Yeah. Obviously he is relentless on the trail, and there's a lot of projections that say Miami's going to have a pretty good year too. Over under is 9.5 in Vegas. I think they have the number 3 best odds to make the ACC championship, the number 3 best odds to make the playoff in the conference. And it's all going to kind of come down to their big games against FSU and Virginia Tech and others. But how big would winning that first game on the road at UF be for Miami recruiting?
So many recruits are going to be there. I mean, the list of recruits that I'm already hearing that are going to be in the swamp to watch the Canes and Gators in that night game to open the season is going to be incredible. It makes me want to be there. I feel like back in the day when the Nike used to have the opening out in Oregon and we get a collection of like 150 of the best players in America, that's essentially what's going to be on the sideline. And don't forget, it's not just 2025. I mean, it's going to have an impact on the 2026 guys watching the 2027 classes. Like, this is just a huge opportunity for both programs if they can pull out a win.
So Miami got tough news last night, even with DJ Pickett. Mario Cristobal certainly not going to let up there, and they've been known to flip some guys late, especially with Pickett being from the state of Florida. Thoughts on how, or if they pivot, or if they just kind of dig their heels in further with Pickett and try and get that flip later on in the year, or what are your thoughts around that?
No, they just got to win. DJ Pickett's from the state of Florida, but with that, they're going to have access to him, meaning they're going to get DJ Pickett on campus. Like we just said, he's going to be in the swamp. Whoever he's committed, DJ Pickett's not missing that game in the swamp against Florida and Miami. So if Miami can go in there, beat the Gators on the road to open the season in front of a DJ Pickett, they're going to have chances to circle back on some of these guys. And Miami, we know Miami has done that before, right? We've seen it. Justin Scott, Armando Blunt, Mark Fletcher. I mean, you name the late flips, and those are some of the guys that are making impacts on the field right now. So I wouldn't be too concerned if I'm a Miami fan right now. And also, you could look ahead just to Saturday. There's a big battle for a top 15 corner in the country, Jabari Antoine. He was one time committed to LSU. He decommitted 3 weeks ago. On Saturday, he's going to pick, and I think there's a good chance that he ends up at Miami.
Where can folks can watch that with you, right? You guys are hosting.
Oh yeah, we are doing the Jabari Antoine live on the On3 Recruits channel, and that'll be I believe about 4 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday.
Miami pulled some pretty big flips last year late, and you mentioned some of those. Are there guys you're kind of keeping your eye on outside of maybe other guys we've already mentioned today that you're kind of keeping your eye on that Miami's going to still have a shot with late in the year if on-field results are there?
Yeah, and the one team I think that has suffered the most from Miami's late recruiting surges has been Ohio State. And I'm going back to
personal
for this one because TJ Alford, the linebacker, one of the top linebackers in America, he's from Deerfield Beach, Florida. And if we like those late Miami flips of Ohio State prospects, then I think TJ Alford is the name that I would keep an eye on if I'm Miami fans. I think that, if things go like we talked about, if things go well this season for the Canes, I think Alford is another one that they could maybe swipe from Ohio State before it's all said and done.
Miami seems fully invested with Mario Cristobal. They seem fully invested in NIL. And if the on-field results are there this year, they're already recruiting top 5 classes, after finishing under 500. It's scary to think of what he could really build in that class. What's the ceiling for that class? How high could they truly get?
Well, I think top 3, top 5 with a good season. I mean, when we talk about the other teams, I don't think when we talk about an Oregon, when we talk about Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, their recruiting classes aren't as tied to winning as I think Miami's class will be in year 3 under Mario Cristobal. So if the projections are right and Miami goes out and they win 9 or 10 games, if they even play for an ACC championship in 2024, then I think this class has a top 10 finish almost guaranteed, and potentially a top 5 finish if the season goes really well for the Canes. I think the ceiling's incredibly high for Miami this year.
You mentioned the Jabari Anton commitment. Where can people follow you? Where can they find your work if they're not necessarily looking for that, but just any recruiting news?
Yeah, On Three Recruits channel. It is on YouTube. We are pumping out a ton of content, whether it's the Inside Scoop, the Wilt Fong Whip Round, the 5-Star Flex. Go to the On Three Recruits YouTube channel.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh.